just got back from seeing the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie. But you guys aren't here for us, you are here for the answers. This is a spoiler-free review, so let's get straight into it.
Is the movie scary? Overall, I thought the film was great. I thought the comedy to horror balance was perfect. Like, it wasn't too humor, like it wasn't too much humor, but there also wasn't too much horror, I guess, if you get what I mean. Jump scares, almost every single jump scare got me. Even when I was expecting a jump scare, it still got me. I liked the build-up to a lot of the moments in the film, and I liked how it utilised a lot of stuff from the games.
Judging by the trailers, I thought it was going to be like very thrilling and less creepy because there was so much action and jump scare shit going on. But no, the film, it really wasn't what I expected. It is a genuinely creepy, scary movie. Like Lex said, it really does build up the tension, kind of like the first movie did, except this time it has a payoff. There is some terrifying shots, terrifying sounds, and it's just, the horror is just way more well done in this one. So the second question is it a good addition to the first movie? It adds a lot more to the universe. I was really curious about how they're going to like link this all together and have it make sense, and it actually does. It does make sense. It's not confusing. They really explain it really well without mansplaining it to you. It's explained well through the plot and everything like that.
I think this film overall fixes a lot of problems I have with the first movie. The main flaws being the pacing. The pacing in this film is a lot more straightforward. We really get into the meat and potatoes of the story instead of spending the first 40 minutes of the film kind of just dragging on about random stuff that, let's just be honest, nobody really cares about. For example, in the first movie, nobody really cares about Aunt Jane, I'm gonna be honest. Does it link well with the games? Something I liked about this film is that it utilised a lot of stuff from the games, mainly gameplay elements, and it actually made them fit, with an in-universe explanation as to why they're happening and how are they happening.
Yeah, the movie really takes advantage of the source material it was given. Unlike the first movie did it a little bit, but this one does it way more. It utilizes a lot of the stuff with the lore and how the universe works in the game FNAF 2. Again, without going into spoilers, but there is a lot of fan service, but it's good fan service. Again, it links so well in with the plot. Everything just weaves together so well with how the games work while still being its own thing and everything. Characters. One thing I was really afraid with this movie is that it was going to be a bit rehashy and people weren't really going to learn their lesson, and it kind of is to a degree, especially with Mike and Abby, which is a bit of a shame. However, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I can look past it, but that's just a little nitpick, is that it's just slightly rehashy, but at least it doesn't ruin the entire movie. Vanessa, however, hated her in the first film. She was a plot device, she was the exposition dump. In this one, she is so much better, and I'm glad she is, that they give us so much more backstory. This movie really delves deep into psychological effects with people and trauma, and it's really introspective when talking about this, and it hits you hard. It hits you really hard, not only in the horror factor, but the emotional factor too.
I feel like Vanessa specifically was a massive step up from what she was in the first film. In the first film, as Isaac said, she was a plot device, just pretty much an exposition dump as a character. She didn't really have much to do in the first film, but in this film she has so much more to offer as a character. You really get to connect with her and sort of understand her point of view on things, as well as exploring more of her backstory.
Filmmaking. All the effects, in the first movie, the direction, the cinematography, is all great, apart from, a few things that I don't like, but 99% of it is great, and they carry that on into this film, and of course, this film does it a lot better. The cinematography is absolutely fantastic. They really utilize making some really creative shots. I was really surprised at how creative this movie got. And one thing I do very much like about the first film is that when it does have horror scenes, there's not so much of a score, there's no soundtrack. They really know when to utilize the soundtrack and when to shut it up. And this movie carries that on, and that's why the horror scenes are so good, especially when there's loads more of them. Effects like with the animatronics and that are still fantastic, just like they were in the first movie, still really, really good. So, like I said, they had a major advantage in the first movie and they didn't really utilize it, whereas here, they definitely utilized it way better.
Overall, with the filmmaking choices, say for example, like the cinematography, something I loved was how some of the shots were tilted slightly at odd kind of angles, sort of to make you feel more uneasy, and in my opinion, I think it worked. Throughout a lot of the scenes, especially like scenes where it would show like characters from the perspective of like through a shelf or whatever, stuff like that. I really liked those sort of shots and like how the framing was. I like the lighting. I feel like the lighting was a lot better in this film. Like like it feels a lot more dingy and dark, and like in the first film, I felt like it was way too bright. Like it had like security breach lighting, where everything is too bright. It's like it's not scary because there's no sort of imagination to it, since you can see everything, every part of the building.
Flaws?
I think my only really flaws is that some of the pacing of some of the scenes felt a bit weird, like the way dialogue was structured in some scenes felt a bit odd.
Only thing I can think off of the top of my head right now is like Lex said, yeah, some of the dialogue is very weird. I'm a little spoiler here, but this isn't a major spoiler. There's a few scenes where like Mike and maybe some other characters are like commentating to themselves, and it just seems very unnatural and stupid because they wrote him well in the first movie, so I don't know why in this one they made him just a little bit more awkward, but it's very minor. It's very, very minor. It's like basically not even an issue.
I feel like my only other flaw would be it kind of in some scenes it kind of feels like they're doing a little bit of a rehash of character development from the first film. Like it feels like they're, especially for say like Mike or Abby, it feels like they retread some of the same steps they took in the first movie, which I feel like they should be over by now and learned those lessons. But
they feel grown, but not too grown.
And it's kind of a flaw, and like it's sort of like a pro and a con for me because it feels realistic. Like say for example, if like you learn a lesson, you're not fully.
That's true.
Yeah, you haven't like fully like say for example with like changing and becoming like a different person, you're not like you're still sort of stuck in old habits. So it makes sense, but it's kind of frustrating to watch if you get.
No, you're absolutely right. So yeah, it's less of like a movie problem, and it's more of just like a problem with reality, which the movie just happens to capture. But no, you're absolutely right. Yeah. The final question we're going to be answering before we move on to the extra questions that you might have but don't care about, is the movie good or bad? So it's like the first movie, it's definitely for FNAF fans, but FNAF fans are going to love it more.
Yes.
Again, it doesn't go quite what everyone wanted. Everyone wanted lots of gore. I didn't personally. I don't think horror needs loads of gore, but it does so much more. It really relishes in the source material and the universe that it's in more than the first movie. It doesn't waste your time. It has complex lore like FNAF does, but not too complex. Like you can figure it out easily, and it's all kind of explained to you. It's a little bit of a popcorn film, but not too much. And it's just so entertaining from beginning to end. Like the opening, we were immediately hooked. We were all freaking like looking at each other. We were absolutely freaking out, and you know, from the minute it ended, like as soon as it ended, it went by so quick. I can't believe how fast this movie was.
Okay, honestly, in my opinion with the film, to me it didn't feel like an hour-long film. It felt like it was half an hour. Even though it was like an hour and like 20 minutes.
It's really weird because that kind of sounds bad. Like we feel like nothing happened when loads happened.
Yes, loads happened in the film. Some of it like is even though like it felt short to us, the film is jam packed with Easter eggs, references, like references not only
and in jokes too.
Yes, especially with the references. I like that it's not just background stuff. but like it's written into the film, like with jokes. Some dialogue specifically are like literally lines from the games, which I think is fantastic. And another thing, I feel like especially with what Isaac said earlier, with the whole a lot of people wanting gore and wanting like a rated R FNAF film, I feel like that wouldn't work because, well, the games were never like.
Well, number one, money. We need to entertain kids,
yes,
but
of course.
number two,
and also I feel like with I honestly feel like with PG-13, the PG-13 rating, I feel like they can be more creative with the kills. And
that's what I'm saying. It was
on,
really not straightforward. They got really
like creative,
weird and abstract
wacky,
sometimes. So that was awesome to see.
So right now, I would give the first movie about a 6 out of 10. Like it's not terrible, but it's not as great as it could be.
It was definitely under. Like I said, it didn't utilize what it had for some reason. It's like they tried to make something.
Yeah, I think they might have been holding back to sort of test the waters with what a FNAF film could be.
Yes.
However, and now they know success. They're gonna go more in depth with that. But another thing is, so the first film I'd rate about 6 out of 10. Not terrible, but not amazing.
No.
This film, however, of course, it fixes a lot of problems I have with the first film, but it does have its own few flaws that I feel hold it back a bit from being perfect. I would give it an 8.
So that can change.
Yes, yeah.
We are going to re-review this. We just need to let it sink in.
Yes.
We literally just got back from the theatre.